In 34 happens every Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. My name is Double D. Hello, hi, and joining us in the studio this afternoon, we're talking about Anna. Hello, Anna. Of course, my producer Anna. Hello, say hi.
Hi.
You can catch us live on TRAXXfm official on YouTube and also Facebook. And today's topic is setting the stage, and joining us in the studios, he's no stranger in the theatre. The art scene in Malaysia has been around for a long, long time. Not saying that he's old. I'm Christopher Ling. Let's call you Christopher. Hello, Christopher.
Yeah, that's fine.
How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for having us.
It's our pleasure because in 34 we need to highlight fellow Malaysians who people may have forgotten lah. Where have you been? What have you been doing? The last time my memory, if I can recollect, you've been in and out, and then you went missing. You're doing some of your own projects.
That's right.
Where have you been? What have you been up to, man?
Okay. In the last 10 years, I've been working with my own theatre company, Theatre 360.
Right.
Also looking at theatre and all this sort of thing. But I've had the huge blessing of being able to join the Actor Studio family just in the last 2 months. It's coming up to 2 months now.
Right.
March.
And how's that like?
Big smile on my face still. Awesome.
Yeah, because most Malaysians, when it comes to theatre production, even way back when I was first introduced to the world of theatre, stage production, I was like, wait a minute, these things exist here in Malaysia. I didn't know. I was a young 20-year-old, like I couldn't be bothered about theatre production. The only time I did something like that was in school.
Understandable, yeah.
And then next thing you know, these things happen. But fast forward 2024, and things like this are still relevant. And
yes, very much so.
And the movement is still present. You feel the presence.
Yes.
And how has it been since the day you started to date, Chris?
It's a wonderful challenge. Trying to ensure that new audiences developed. This sort of thing. The interest in going to watch a piece of theatre or a piece of dance or a piece of whatever it is in the performing arts. Now that begins at school level. Right. So it is in secondary school. So hence I'm Double D, I'm so excited that you said school, because that's where I started. I started in school. I started with my Form 1 teacher asking me to direct our inter-class English drama play for my class. Yeah.
See, that's the difference right there. Your English teacher asks you to direct something.
Betul.
My primary school teacher asked me to be one of the robbers in Alibaba production. There's a difference here.
Absolutely no stereotype casting there.
Nothing. Okay, Didi, you jadi penyamun. I said, okay. You, on the other hand, were asked to direct.
Yes.
And that's why you are.
But that's because I was teacher's pet lah. That was my.
It worked. It was still a very tough role. Okay, you have to carry some boxes. So go on. You were saying grassroots school level.
It's grassroots school level. That's where it all begins. I think progress is there, but it's not. It's not fast enough. I think, there is an industry, there is a local theatre arts scene that is very vibrant in all the languages, BM theatre, BM English, Mandarin, Cantonese, Tamil as well. Yeah, the full range. However, my beef with it is the fact that we are all still stuck in silos, aren't we? It's BM theatre, and it's English theatre, and it's Chinese theatre, and it's Tamil theatre, and we are all not talking to each other enough. So way back when I had the opportunity to, I asked myself, what is Malaysian theatre? And I came up with the thought that it is something that is multicultural, something that is multilingual. But let me ask you, Double D, when is the last time you saw something that is multicultural and multilingual on stage?
Well, if you can, Ola Bola was on.
Yes, good example.
I saw that one.
Yeah, good example.
It was great. The production was brilliant. Of course, it was a movie, and then the adaptation
right. Yeah.
People, I felt that I enjoyed the stage production more than watching.
Of course, the stage production allows you that much of a bigger look into the characters that run the play. Right. And there's lovely music as well. Lovely music. I remember crying. I bawled my eyes out at one of the songs in the middle. I think it's called Believe. A lovely
Correct. It just somehow it resonates with people, and watching it in the cinema and then watching real life people on stage putting that thing together. Like what you said, yes. If my memory serves me, I can't think of any other production that has bridged between cultural and language.
I really believe, Double D, that is the key. Having something that appeals to as many people as possible. I mean, you can't please everyone.
Correct.
Right? Hence why for me, I mean, my background is in English theatre. I started off with English theatre when I was with KLPAC many years ago now, 2008 to 2013. My focus was entirely English theatre.
Okay.
When I formed my theatre company in the last 10 years, it was also English theatre.
Okay.
But I've been blessed because as I asked myself what is Malaysian theatre, I told myself, Chris, you got to get off your butt and you got to try and get yourself looking not only at English theatre, but maybe looking at, okay, so for myself, my background is Peranakan lah. So I have to admit, Chinese theatre is something that is that one more step further away from me. So I decided, okay, I'm going to do the BM theatre. And I was very blessed because I had an opportunity to mix with a theatre company called Revolution Stage that welcomed me with open arms. They are tremendously active as a BM theatre company, and because of that mix, you know, I mean, all credit to them and their artistic director. I was introduced to the world of BM theatre, and that has only been from about 2017, 2018.
Oh, not
now.
too long ago.
Yeah, not very long ago. So I mean, and it's really revolutionized the way I look at playmaking. In fact, it's not just a different language, right? Because it's a different culture in that sense.
Yes.
But all these things should not, you know, language, culture, all these things should not, now in 2024, they should not be the reason why, you know, you don't come and see my production, I don't come and see your production.
Segregation.
Or that idea of the silo, right?
Right.
You know, I'm sure tons of people from BM Theatre or English would want to watch. They will.
Maybe because it's the language barrier.
Yeah.
Some people may not be able to understand.
Yeah, sure, yes.
Of course, unlike big theatre production, like if you go to Istana Budaya, there's some subtitles and things like this. Here we don't have. And what if I do not, my command of English is not good, and I want to go to watch this production has got both Malay and English, but then I tak faham bahasa Inggeris.
No,
so maybe they stay away, like, you know what?
No, I understand that, and there is a lot of truth in that. I mean, primarily for those plays that are completely in Bahasa Malaysia, like for instance, I have a production upcoming that's based actually on an English play, a classic English play. That one, KLPAC and the Actors Studio make a very important point of ensuring that all the work that we do is completely accessible to as many audiences as possible.
Right, correct.
Yeah. I mean, that is one of the standard things that we look at. So when we decide whether we are using surtitles or subtitles for a show, actually there's a lot of thought that goes into that, whether it helps, whether it distracts. So it's different sort of situations lah.
Correct.
Sort of situations.
So, well, the reason you're here today in 34, we like to talk about the production aspect. Now, you've been in the scene for quite some time. I'm sure you have got challenges because now we have got this platform.
Yeah.
I'm having a chat with you. We just don't know who's tuned in right now, and maybe they've got passion. They may have penned down a few plays or but just don't know what to do with them. And how did it all begin with for you, and how did you progress to where you are today?
Okay.
Because I know people think, okay, go sign up for some arts course, get a degree and performing arts, and then you work your way through. But some of us have just pure talent. They just don't know this writing and going to college and stuff like that.
For me,
and stuff.
Well, okay. For me, it was very, very simple. I grew up loving movies and film, and my favorite movie, my favorite movie of all time, and even till now,
by doing so, right, you're going to give away your age, but go on.
It's okay, I'll risk that. It's actually E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Now that was, it premiered in, if I'm not mistaken, the original version in 1984. And
I was standard one.
Something like that.
Okay.
So somewhere there. So, and what happened was, I remember sitting in the back seat of my father's Mercedes-Benz. We're driving down Jalan Marof. It's a very distinct memory. And sitting in the back of his Mercedes, and I was thinking to myself, do I want to do this? Because you see, I love the movie so much that I insisted that my parents bring me to watch it again. So up to today, I've seen it more than 40 over times. I cry every single time, believe it or not, Double D. Every single time, I still cry, I still emote. You can play me the soundtrack and I know what's happening on the screen, literally, and I can even, you know, react to it. That's how strong the movie spoke to me. And in fact, let me give you a little tidbit. E.T. the extraterrestrial, when you're 9 years old or 10 years old, you go, oh wow, it's so cool, this alien comes to and that sort of thing, right? You don't really think about it. But when you are someone as old as me now, and I look back and I go, why did I like that movie? I understand that actually E.T. the extraterrestrial is the epitome of loneliness. That is actually what it's all about, right? You've got a kid who comes from a divorced family, who has no one around him to support him, and all of a sudden, wow, this however billion-old alien appears from nowhere and becomes his friend.
Right.
And that's what it's all about: companionship, dealing with the loneliness, dealing with all of these sort of things. Anyway,
well, something like that only came into light when you were much older and you
much older. And
as a kid, you were like, okay, no, bicycle can fly.
As a kid, yeah, exactly. And as a kid, I was jealous of Elliot, right? The main character.
Elliot, yeah.
I was jealous of Henry. I was jealous of Elliot, the character, because he got to do all this stuff. Then I got jealous of Henry Thomas because he was 12 years old or whatever lah, 2-3 years older than me, and he already gets to do all this sort of stuff.
Wow.
And then, whatever it was, I have no idea. Maybe it was because my father also, he did theatre when he was back in his school in Malacca High School many years ago, and he keeps reveling me with all kinds of stories. So what happened is, at that time, I also put 2 and 2 together, and I realized there's a director behind this. So when I thought about, when I'm sitting in the back of my father's Mercedes, I'm thinking about directing theatre. I'm not thinking about acting. I'm not thinking about, which is a weird thing, I would think, but maybe because I'm the megalomaniac teacher's pet sort of thing.
It was in you already from the start.
Whatever lah. All this good and not so
the man who only wants
right?
to just take the stage when the whole thing is done, then they call him on stage, not during the whole performance.
The person who gets to be able to be in control of all the inputs that go into your senses from the moment you step into a theatre and the moment you leave. Yeah, that's me lah.
Okay lah.
So in my father's car back seat, I decided, okay, now film, right? You go through that pre-production shoot, post-production. Okay, at that time I didn't know what a test audience is lah.
Okay.
So 3 months of post-production, and then only do you know whether people like your play or not.
Right.
I mean, like your movie. Right? So with theatre, you perform, people don't like you, they can throw things at you, man. They can walk out of the theatre, they don't come back in intermission. That's why my shows don't have intermissions, because I'm petrified that people will not come back for the second half. Yeah.
Don't worry about that. People pay the money
life,
already.
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
I got my money's worth. They will stay. Throws here, like you're giving out a freebie at the end.
Yeah. Definitely. But yes, I mean that's actually the starting point. To actually decide that there is someone who is responsible for all this, and because that person can actually engineer a product that can engage me and that can influence me in such a powerful way, I said I need to be the megalomaniac in Mila said I need to be that person. But it still took my Form 1 English teacher, Mrs. Alice Neo, if she's listening.
Is she?
It took her, Mrs. Alice Neo, to ask me, Chris, okay, you got no choice, you're directing this year's interclass English competition.
And we kudos to your teacher lah for actually making that.
And many
that
other teachers as well,
And you yourself have become an educator. You have even part your knowledge. I see from your bio here, you have taught in Unimas, you have taught in Aswara, you have part of knowledge. And how did that go about? Because for being the kid and now you teaching and you got students of your own.
Yeah.
And what's that response like? Just looking at them.
I've loved working with young people. Double D, young people, the enthusiasm, the exuberance that they show, the enthusiasm that they show towards, the art of playmaking, there's nothing that compared to it lah.
Okay.
And they bring so much interesting ideas and thoughts to it. So many interesting things, new perspectives, new ways of thinking and things, especially the youngsters of nowadays lah.
Correct.
But truth be told, the reason why I went into the education side is also purely financial as well, right? It's having to balance and making the books balance, but it's also that, yeah.
Right, and how difficult is this right now to come up with a production today? Because, like you said, the finance part, right? I'm going to ask you later on, can you make money out of this? Because everybody wants to make a quick buck. They want to get some fame out of this as well, because some people are just in it for the passion. How much of passion is, how much money will it break in?
Yeah, when the proverbial doo-doo hits the fan, how do you sort things out? I mean, for me, personally speaking, it really depends what you really want out of this, right? I mean, if you're looking for an easy, high-flying life, blah, 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 everything looked after, then The performance arts is a challenge. It is the life is a challenge, but it is a hugely rewarding one, a tremendously rewarding one in the sense that you, in no other art form, do you have the opportunity to create something that can be life changing for someone else. Like we're talking here about not just entertaining you, we're talking about transforming your life. We're talking about transforming your thoughts, transforming your perspectives on things. Where else do you get that opportunity? I mean, you get it through music, you get it through, that sort of, I mean, that's what powers me through this, right? Because I realize that I become, whether I like it or not, I become a spokesperson for any topic or any issue that I bring up in the productions that I present. So there's a huge responsibility that I bear on my shoulders in that sense.
Absolutely. Well, wonderful, Chris. And how do you get all your ideas to come up with this production? I mean, I'm sure you have some original, some recreation, some...
For me, it's many different sources, right? Because it depends. Am I writing for... well, I'm not a writer. So, I'm blessed that I have contacts with people who are able to write. But what I do is I constantly look out for stories and ideas. And what I will do is I always share it with my writer friends. And if it takes off with them, then they write.
Can a random person right now who's got an idea or probably written something down somewhere, I want to write a story about this. And then they just want to bring it to life. Can they actually come up to people like you and like, hey, listen, would you be able to help me out? Say like, if this is going to work or not?
I think if you're discussing the suitability of the idea, yes, most definitely. But in terms of the writing of the play itself or whatever it is now, that takes a completely different school of ability and whatever. Okay. I can tell you whether it will work.
Okay.
But yeah.
That we're going to hold that thought. We're going to take a short break for the news at 4 o'clock with Karen Francis. I don't know what question he's going to ask you. Maybe you should ask him a question. All right. We're having a chat with Christopher Ling in the studios. Our In 34 segment today, talking about setting the stage, all about theatre production. And yeah, we need to also find out if our man here is working on something new, is something brewing. We got to find out all this and more happening in 3 minutes after the news. For first, here's Maya, all about the money. Can you make money now? Anna, you got to play or not?
Go, I got right place before.
Maybe one of your radio sketch can be turned to a stage production.
Salam Malaysia Madani, Kevin Francis with the 4 p.m. news update. The national level Aidilfitri Madani 2024 celebration will be held at the Sabah International Convention Centre in Kota Kinabalu tomorrow. It will start as early as 10:30 a.m. until 3 p.m. and is organised in collaboration between the Sabah government as the host and the Ministry of National Unity as the lead ministry. Themed Perpaduan Melalui Perayaan, it will be attended by Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim and Sabah Chief Minister Dato Sri Haji Jinor. Malaysia has expressed deep concern and disappointment after a veto was exercised to block the United Nations Security Council from admitting Palestine as a full UN member. Wisma Putra said this came despite a clarion call from an overwhelming majority of UN member states. It added the exercise of a veto has called into question the genuine desire of the council member in realizing the inalienable rights of Palestinians. In world news, the International Atomic Energy Agency said there has been no damage to Iranian nuclear sites following explosions Friday in the center of Iran that have been described as Israeli revenge attacks. The Vienna-based agency also called for extreme restraint from everybody and added that nuclear facilities should never be a target in military conflicts. Meanwhile, Oman, which has long mediated between Tehran and the West, condemned an Israeli attack on Iran. Its foreign ministry released a statement on X which condemned and denounced Israel's repeated military attacks in the region. South Korea is set to fully shift to an endemic approach to the COVID-19 pandemic, lifting some last remaining mandates, including indoor mask requirements for hospitals from next month. Officials said the disaster level of COVID-19 will be downgraded to the lowest tier in South Korea in a way that fully returns to a pre-pandemic stage some 4 years after the outbreak. On to sports now. In tennis, it took saving 5 match points, but Marta Kostyuk rallied to upset number 5 seed Chin Wen-cheng on Thursday and advanced to the quarterfinals of the WTA 500 tournament in Stuttgart, Germany. Ukrainian Kostyuk will later face American number 3 seed Coco Gauff. And finally, the world's top marathon runners have descended on the UK as they gear up for this weekend's London Marathon, which could prove especially competitive among women runners. The world's fastest female marathoner, Tix Ashifa, headlines an elite field that features 7 women who have run under 2 hours 17 minutes and 30 seconds, including 3 of the top 4 fastest women ever. That was the news edited by Mas Elizawati. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. So back to Double D and Christopher in 34.
Thank you very much, Kevin Francis, for the news at 4 o'clock.
And thank you, Double D, for giving me this opportunity to speak to Christopher.
Hey, hi, Kevin. Hi.
Hi, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much.
All right. Wow. I don't know how Double D and Anna gets all these big names to come in for this show. I mean, you, of course, have been in the scene for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm also the era of ET. Just
awesome.
we won't mention our age, but we'll just say we're in the era of ET.
He actually auditioned for the role, but go on. I'm talking about
They
ET,
say.
Okay, anyway, I'm sure Double D's got a lot of questions to ask you, but I just want to say, I'm not a theatre person or something like that, right? But why, I mean, you've been on a lot of interviews and all of it.
Yeah.
Why every interview, I'm sure you get this question, like how far have we come from wherever, and how our strides, how much advancement are we making in the industry? Why is this question always being asked? Like, haven't we reached somewhere?
I mean to say that there is no progress. Of course, there is tons and tons and tons of progress. I mean, okay, let's put it very simply. When I decided that I wanted to do theatre as my degree, right? I didn't have any local choices. I had to go overseas. So I literally went to London and I landed up doing my 3-year degree at Middlesex University. Right now, you fast forward to 2024, there are you throw a stone at a university and the university has a drama program. Whether it is one course or one module, all the way to 3-year diplomas, 3-year degrees, and you put in the postgraduate programs and all kinds of things. I mean, the opportunities are totally endless with regard to people coming into the industry lah. But the thing is, as I mentioned to Double D earlier, I mean, I do think that, you know, we need to see us working towards the end to the breaking down and the compartmentalization of the scene as, you know, BM, English, Chinese. I know, I totally understand why it's that way. I totally understand. But I mean, if we can see more cross-cultural, multilingual sort of things happening, and I mean, that in itself is already a challenge lah.
Yeah.
Just
But, you know,
completely
if we
remove the
got that-
barrier.
Yeah,
Language, then-
yeah, exactly. We should all be working on each other's stuff. We should all be watching each other's stuff. We should all be supporting. And you know what, Kevin? I mean, there are companies out there, BM theatre companies. There are most definitely English theatre companies out there that are doing this already. I know Chinese theatre companies. I mean, we got awesome Chinese theatre companies working at KLPAC regularly. You know, and that sort of stuff. It's happening lah. But I mean, okay, pace cepat sikit lah.
And also the exchange of ideas, right?
Yes, of course, very much so.
Important. Yeah.
Very much so, yes, of course.
All right, Kevin. Thank you so much
All
for
right,
the question,
thanks,
brother.
Chris. Have fun.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thanks
yes.
for coming by.
So just before we let you go, we've already figured out a character. We're going to write you in our school. Okay?
What, alien, is it?
Acha, that one not bicycle, bro. You have to bring a forklift and carry you up. Okay, different kind of easy.
That's right.
Cheers, man. Bye,
Cheers,
Kevin.
bye.
Well, Chris, thank you for putting up with Kevin. That's
Hey, no
a
problem.
very cool question he asked. How far we have come. Like, I didn't know that now. I mean, it's easily accessible. If somebody wants to pick up a course in performing arts,
Yeah, of course,
drama,
yeah.
you have the avenue, you have the platform,
Yeah.
even the institution that
Yes.
is offering these things. And now let's
Very
talk.
good institutions, yeah.
See, I'm running out of time. You see, this is how fast time flies when you're having fun. And now with a guest here, and Chris is a champion here. My dear friend, you've come a long way, and what are you working on right now?
Okay.
Because looking at it, I've only got 7 minutes to have a chat with you, and I don't know what I'm going to be able to drag in.
Okay.
What are you working on right now? And you've come a long way. And of course, before we end, you need to not plug, but just let us know how can one reach and get in touch with you
Sure.
if they want to pursue a career in performing arts, drama.
Sure. Okay, right now I'm in a very unique situation because I'm blessed by the fact that I can really do the job of an artistic director in the sense that I am now able to say, okay, this is the play I want to do. This is the subject matter that I want to tackle. So, when I was with KLPAC many years ago, the work that I did there was predominantly in English. So now, coming back in 10 years later,
Right.
my work has, of course, gone round in gone round
The world.
180, yeah, and it's come back to BM Theatre. So what happens is, and this is with thanks to Dato Farida and Joe, they're given me the opportunity to helm a 3-play season called Kembali ke Pangkuan of 3 Bahasa Malaysia productions.
Well done.
Yeah, so something that opens up the audience, something that's new for me as well, challenging for me as well. The very first production we're doing, which is part of this season, is a piece called Sakrin. It's Malaysia. It's a world premiere. This play has not been performed before. It was actually commissioned specifically for this run. We are running from May the 16th to the 19th.
Could you hold it up a little
yeah,
bit?
Sure.
Okay.
May 16th to the 19th. It's a very small production. It's just 2 actors. The gist of it is the son. His name is Fikri. Fikri creates an AI version of his father.
You know what? You just stole my next question. I was about to ask you this world of advancement of AI. How relevant is theatre play going to be? Now go on.
There you go. Okay,
Wow.
so son creates AI version of his father to work out why his father was,
Don't
to
give
put it
out-
politely, why his father was a bit one kind lah to the family,
Okay.
Yeah. So this is very father and son, which would then link you actually to ET. I mean, let's face it, okay? I mean, what the secrets? I mean, if you're a playwright, if you want to be playwright out there, One of the secrets is you write a play about father and son relationships, mother and daughter relationships, and you are guaranteed to have a response from the audience. Guaranteed.
It's real life
Guaranteed.
scenarios being
Yeah. And
staged.
I mean, it applies to everybody, doesn't it? I mean, everyone's father and son relationship, or father and daughter relationship, mother and daughter. I mean, whenever you talk about family, it's a very explosive sort of topic.
Okay.
So that plus AI, right? Because that is something that is very
Yeah.
new.
Even here
very-
in RTM, we are promoting AI. You can
Of
listen
course,
to
yeah.
our dramas. We've got the first ever radio documentary, 100% generated by AI.
Oh,
We at
wow,
TRAXX,
wow,
we
wow,
did it
wow.
last year. It was brilliant. And yeah, now this is a series of 3. So this is 1 out of 3.
Yeah, 1 out of 3 productions. 1 out of 3 productions.
Okay.
The second is Perhiasan Kaca, which is a BM translation of a very, very famous English play called The Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams.
Okay.
And the third is, again, a world premiere of a trilogy of plays. And this is the challenge that I put out to Yusof Bakar, who is the playwright. I asked him, have you heard of a Bahasa Malaysia play that is sci-fi? So there you go. So he actually wrote it. We
I
actually
think my
performed it.
expression is like, whoa. I think all was captured.
We presented the first play of the trilogy in PJ Pack about a few years ago, and now we have play number 2 and number 3 that's coming up.
Full production
yeah.
on the way.
Yeah, full production.
This one,
Saccharin is
Saccharin, what does it mean? Saccharin.
saccharin is as you know,
Can
saccharin is the sugar substitute. Right?
Yes,
it's the sugar
correct.
substitute, right? The very old sugar substitute. And in fact, actually, in early January, I directed a production of Death of a Salesman, and it so happens that the lead character, Willie Loman, actually says the word saccharin. And I asked my playwright friend Ashad Azrai if he could write a play, and he chose the word saccharin, and I said this is really interesting because of the
Wow.
links. Yeah. So anyway, to cut it short, it is father-son. It's all about father-son dynamics. If you want to forget about the AI and forget about the, it's all about father and son.
It's
and all
happening next month.
Happening next month, middle of next month in the Indicine at KLPAC.
16th to 18th of May. I guess all the details, where can they...
Yes, they can go to klpac.org, or they can go to bit.ly/saccharin TAS to look for tickets there.
Do you have
as
your
well.
own social media that they can...
Yes, my own social media is the easiest way to get to me would be Chrisling, CHRISLING on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my handle.
All right, lovely. And this, I don't need to ask what your future project. So this is 1 out of 3.
One
and
out
the
of
third one is also a trilogy?
Yes, it's trilogy.
So that's 6.
yeah, memang.
So how you've got champion like you, Chris.
Mesti.
So if putting all this aside, if someone out there who's got a passion
Yep.
for theatre,
Yep.
maybe directing
Yep.
or being a writer, or in fact just like to be an actor,
Yep.
maybe they've always known or felt that they've got something in them, but
Yep.
just don't know where to begin.
Yep.
Do you guys have anything that sort?
We most definitely
Open
do. We have
auditions or
okay. In terms of auditions, of course, that is very dependent on the productions, schedules, and seasons. However, we have the Actor Studio Academy, and
Right.
we have tons of acting classes. We have classes for the full range, right? You are 4 years old all the way to adult. The full range of acting classes and things. I will be at some point in time when I get my skates on, be doing classes in directing and that sort of thing. So
Wonderful.
actually, that would be the best place, to put your foot into an acting class. I mean, I cannot. I cannot recommend more Joe's classes in acting and Omar Ali's classes in acting as well at the Actor Studio Academy.
lovely. So Christopher, thank you, my man, for coming in. Time
Most welcome.
has
Thank you
caught
so
up
much
with
for
us.
having
Only
me.
left 30 seconds. You know what, Anna? This close up. When you're holding it out there, you know what I saw? I didn't see two faces.
You saw the one.
No.
This is-
What do you think? What would you have? What do you see? You know this poster. You know what? What do you see, Anna? I actually saw two mountain cliff sides, and this is the water plane and the reflection on the water, and that's what I saw. And I was like, suddenly I felt weird when you pointed at the father, the son.
And the
oh,
son.
I said, oh, there's two people's faces, lah. I look at things differently, Chris. I'm not weird though,
But
but
we need that.
thank you so much for joining us. And Saccharin's going to be on stage
16
at
on May.
KLPAC 16 on May onwards. Find out more details. You can log on to klpac.org. Chris, we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you so much for having me.
like what we mentioned off air, our producers, and only Anna, some of our other producers, they've also written scripts and we've produced.
Boleh je. Let's do it.
TRAXXfm State Production now. Okay, this has been another edition of In 34. For those of you watching us live on Facebook and YouTube, thank you so much. We'll take a short break and be right back. All right, let's go. Yeah, okay. So we are still streaming while the song will go on. The reason why I have to do on this mode because of copyright. We can't stream on YouTube and Facebook with songs and music, right?
Okay, fine.
So now we are talking. So guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I don't know how many people watch this, but now this play is going to be for 2 days.
4 days.
4 days.
5 shows, 5 performances.
Right, okay, 5 performances.
Yeah.
So 16 to 18 of May, KLPAC, the details are all on klpac.org.
Yeah.
You can check out the website.
Yeah.
Chris, if anybody wants to personally reach out to you via your social media, if they DM you, guys, if you're watching it, say hi, you heard the interview.
Yes, please. Yeah.
on TRAXXfm.
Yeah.
And you can ask questions if he's busy now, let him finish whatever, but I'm sure he's got time to answer some of your questions
Of
or
course,
queries
yeah.
and able to help a fellow Malaysian out lah. So
Boleh
Chris,
pasti, yeah.
anything you'd like to say to our audience who are watching us live before we say bye-bye?
I think
Any piece of
always
advice?
keeping an open heart, always being open
Okay.
to new experiences and new challenges, whatever that might be for you. Yeah, always doing that, always staying open. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, you close, tak boleh.
Okay lah. So this production is going to be both in Malay and Bahasa
Yes.
Melayu, Bahasa Malaysia. Till then, thank you so much. Chris, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Anna,
okay.
thank you. We never mentioned his 2 friends who came here, Maggie and...
Kali.
Yeah, he brought his cheerleaders here. Alright guys, thank you. This has been another edition of In 34. Bye.